before we bring in Ashley.
Oh, I wanted to ask him a question too, please.
Sure. Do you want to ask a question and then he can coin that together?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ashley.
So one of the things I want to ask him, I know that he's talking a lot about electoral injustice, but from the 2017 ruling, we learned that election is not an event, it is a process. So can you comfortably say that the process was just for Ruto and for Raila? Remember at one time, even Wajakoya said, please let us be fair to Ruto. So was that process fair to Ruto when he was being denied media coverage? Was it fair to Ruto when he was being denied finances? Remember that Raila used state finances that was given to him by Uhuru. Was it fair to Ruto when he was being denied to hold some meetings, and we saw they would be disrupted, yet Raila was given free security, he was not disturbed, he was helped to go around the country. And also, since 2018, after the handshake, what prevented Uhuru and Raila from streamlining the IEBC that they now want to streamline? If there was ever an opportunity, wasn't it then during the handshake government? What prevented them from streamlining? Because we didn't just wake up in 2022 and realize that the IEBC was unjust. This is the same IEBC that buggered the elections of 2017. So I heard Babu Owino say that the reason they did not do anything is because they added 4 commissioners that were aligned to them. So what I personally have concluded is that both Ruto and Raila stole, but one was more smarter than the other in stealing. So when I try to steal, when we fight and I defeat you, do you also now go and accuse me of beating you while you are also actively involved? They both participated. They had an internet war of thefts, and Ruto emerged the winner. That is the truth. And the whole process was unfair. Raila allowed Uhuru to be unfair to Ruto for him. We all know that. So when do we come and cry when we are beaten? You should just, like Sabina Chege said today, he should accept defeat because he knows he wasn't fair either. It wasn't a one-day event, it was a process. If you look at Venezuela election.
What is your question to him then?
So my thing is that he should stop complaining and say that the election was stolen. They both tried to steal, and Ruto emerged the bigger winner in stealing that election. That is what I think. So even why was the Akina Matiangi going, where the pictures were shown them going to force IEBC to chairman to declare Raila as the president, or even to call for a runoff. So they were also trying to manipulate, only that the other side was able to manipulate better than they were. So they can't come back now and cry for justice because they did not practice justice. And one more thing, my last and for Uhuru to come and be in a campaign where they are saying that the election was not fair when the government was in his hands. Where was he when Chebukati was going to Venezuela? Venezuela is known to be unstable. Venezuela had a bad election in 2021. Where was he when they were going to contract with an unstable government for them to run their software? So they slept on the job, and they should accept defeat and plan for next time. They should stop disturbing the people, because it was their failure on their part to be in the position they were in. And if they tried to participate in manipulating and it didn't work for them, it is unfair for them now to involve people and cause bloodshed so that they can have positions that have nothing to do with our welfare but theirs. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Lala, you may proceed to respond.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, but we kind of hear you from a distance. Something to do with your mic.
Okay, let me... okay. give me a second, then I can.
No, you're good now. Oh, okay. All right. Mzalendo, you may want, if you want to contribute, and actually thank you for joining. Let me take this time to recognize you and welcome you to the show.
Okay, I think Ashley
Yeah, I
has
can.
been
Okay.
very, very precise and articulate to whatever transpired in the last election. Now, here we have to give Kenyans the right information without mincing our words. Elections are held at the polling center.
Mzalendo, do you want to hold your thought? I would like Lala to
To respond to that?
respond. Yeah, and then you can come in as well after he
All
has
right. Okay.
responded. Oh, we lost him. Go ahead. He's trying to
Yeah, yeah.
connect.
Elections is a process, and actually articulated that very, very well. Election is a process. It starts from somewhere to the polling center and ends up at Bomas. What we should be talking about is that movement at Bomas, is it really, really necessary? Because our elections are hotly contested, and to avoid the suspicion, why can't we have a mechanism? Because IBC is well funded, very, very well funded, that it can have a mechanism to relay information and or involve uh, a third party to help them relay information at the polling center. So elections are simple. Ukishapiga kura pale kwa polling station, ihesabiwe tupate result. After getting the result, that result is authentic. Every presidential candidate, by the time the polls were closing and the counting was going on, knew who had won in a particular polling station because they had got their supporters there. There were agents there. There were other candidates for various seats at both ward level, constituency level, and at county level. By the time Chebukati was getting the result, I believe Azimio knew their position. And I believe that the server was not really necessary. If in regard to the last petition, we for the civil society by Minor PI that consequently was used to nullify the last election. So election is a process. It is conducted at the polling center. That is the final result. If you have any irregularity, it should be at the polling center. So most Azimio supporters or most Kenyans are not aware of this. Election irregularities should be pointed out at the polling center, not Lola, not the server, but at the polling center. A server is a computer program or device that provides resources, data, storage, and things like that. But that data comes from somewhere. That source, the raw data, the raw data is at the polling station. At the polling station, there is a form called 34A. That form, your agents know about it. There are so many things that we are not being told. It is that particular point. If you had how many agents were they supposed to be? I don't know whether there were 400,000 agents or something like that, or 600. I'm not really sure about the figure. But
Mr.
if
Led,
you had,
even before you go to the polling station, I will say this because I have to leave. I'm going to work. But before you even go to the polling station, there is an EU something that was done on Venezuela election that had the same problems we have. And they say, according to the initial report, the elections were marked by an excessive use of state resources in the campaign, unequal access to media, voter coercion on election day, and arbitrary disqualification of opposition leaders. The mission observed that the state resources at 30% PSUV campaign events and in 2.5 of the campaign events from the opposition, according to the report. So it is not just on the election day. If one side took advantage of excessive access to state resources and media, already that is an unfair election. So if Raila was able to use state resources, he was able to have unequal access for media. There was voter coercion, where some of like Ruto's people were refused to for campaign, but Raila was allowed. He can then not come and say the election was unfair because even his side participated in that unfairness. I have to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Lala, do you want to respond? I think you were
Let,
struggling with your
let me say something here. For my sister who just left, first of all, I think your information is not quite accurate. First of all, Ruto had access to the people for all the time he has been out there campaigning. So we can't say that government resources was used, on the side of Azimio, to steal the election. Yes, there was a relationship between Uhuru and Raila, and that was because Raila agreed to, for the sake of the peace, the handshake. But when we talk about resources moving towards the other side, to Raila side, I think we have to really be careful what type of resources. First of all, in the Uhuru government, there were no appointments that were made to accommodate Raila people in the government. Ruto was still in the government. He still had now we know that he had the security on his side. A big chunk of that system was with him. They probably were cheating Uhuru. They already were deep into the system. And so when we claim Raila was given a lot of resources, no, if he was given, he should have been the president to steal. But I think the idea was that we wanted the constitution to work. The whole idea from Moi time to the current was that the people have been struggling to establish that something that is fair to everyone, that we can have a nation. And so my sister, from your argument, what you're saying is that we give up on Kenya. In other words, they're going to steal. It's very fatalistic, mentality, which actually really proposing maybe a military takeover. That we should give up on the political, the government by the people and give it to the military, because if we're going to do the stealing all the time, then why should we go out voting? So I think Kenyans know very well that they have struggled enough to come up with a constitution and to be in a position where they have more than one party. They can, at least there's some good things that have come out of of a bad situation because of people's struggle. And so I can see a sense of a hope, a sense of hope for us as a people. I think we still have a lot of challenges within our system. But this particular election to me, was much, much more. I would say the incident of the stealing of election was much, much clearer. In other words, people know exactly what happened. And when we know what happened, we have to do something about it. I always say it like this. When the Supreme Court said that the servers should be open, okay, it's like you're given, the court gives you a search warrant, and you go to a house, and then you're told you can't go in this room. This room is locked. You're out. Nobody is supposed to go inside this room. And you're not allowed to get in that room. And you know the evidence in that room. And then the Supreme Court decides not even to bother opening that particular room in that particular house to get the evidence. So everything was clear. So now that wananchi, are out in arms, what they're saying is, we just want the truth. It's not about Raila. It's not about Ruto. We want the truth. We paid a lot of money to IEBC. And there is a room inside the IEBC where there is the truth. It is our tax money. We hired these people to do a job for us. So to say that, let's forget about it, we want peace, we want to move forward, that's where the problem comes, because where is forward? How do we, simply, forget, 2022 and move forward? There is no forward, because if you move forward, actually, the very thing is going to come, because somebody else is also planning to do exactly the same thing. Why would you open, if I steal election next time and have a room in my house where the evidence is, can Supreme Court tell me to open it? No. So we are putting.
But if you may allow me to interject you and ask you a question.
Yes.
The last 5 years, right, since 2017 to 2022 election, both of the leaders had the opportunity to address these issues of electoral injustice. Why is it that it is after the election, immediately after the election, and after people negotiating the positions, is when, before negotiating for their position, is when the issues of electoral injustice are highlighted. But after people position themselves either in the government or in other different ways, they don't talk about it anymore. Don't you think that our leaders, both the Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, William Ruto, and the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, also are to blame, because they have never been serious with these issues? And that is why, if you agree with me that way, then I will also be happy to agree that our country is headed to the wrong direction. What do you think? What are your thoughts about that?
Definitely, there are wrong things that are going on in that country. And this is why, for me, I propose the people. This is where the people is need. We want our country back, because these people we call leaders have not protected us. They have not been there for us. So we want our country back. We want those servers open. We want to know whom we voted for. That's all. Let's know that, because if we don't, we are making sides. If we do nothing, we are taking side, and we're saying Ruto should go on and lead us. No, he should not. Neither should we say that he should go on and lead us. We want the facts in that particular server to tell us
What you're
what's
asking
going on.
for, that window has already passed. Who you need to blame is Raila and Uhuru. After 2017, what you're talking about, I was mad. I followed Raila up to the handshake. The reason I left and have never gone back is the very reason you're talking about today. That issue should have been fixed in 2018. Yes, they did the handshake. Why did Raila sleep? He should have continued to ask then for electoral justice, and he had a president who had his ear. So for whatever reason, that issue was not saved and has become to haunt us again in 2022. And you want to put people on the streets, people to shed blood. Let me tell you something. People may die, but there's not going to be a new president. Raila will not become president. You get your facts, that's reality. They might put a wall, people will die, but the fact remains he will not become president. What do we do now? We go and elect a leader for 2020 next, who will, and then we try and address these issues. But the way we are going about it is not by using the same people who put the problem there in the first place and using them. They cannot be the new change. They cannot be the people who we expect to change, because they should have done that. Those 5 years, they didn't do it. And now they want to disrupt this new government. They had an opportunity. They should not have allowed Chebukati to go to the country he went to get the software done there. They were in a position then to say, no, you cannot contract with Venezuela. Venezuela is as stable as Somalia. So the fact that he was already able to go there, already there was monkey business going on, but Uhuru, for whatever reason, was doing whatever he was doing, he could not see. So before you blame Ruto for stealing, blame the goalkeeper for letting the goal be played, and he was played when he was in the seat, and Raila was right there next to him in that handshake government. It is them that you need to account.
Blaming all of them, and we want our country back. We have to get it now. We are blaming all of them, because if you don't, you are taking side. You're taking side. We are blaming all of them. That's why there's a people's power. We want our country back. And if all of us stand together, there's nothing. People will not die. None of us military want to fight. Nobody wants to go to the street and fight. All we want is truth. And let truth win for us. Because if we don't, we are just simply postponing our problems. It will come back again and again and again until we end up being like Somalia. What is wrong with us demanding that we want the truth? What really happened? Chebukati, whoever is responsible, why can't we force them to face the consequences? We are the people, we are the Kenyans.
I agree.
So
I agree with you. I agree.
One...
Lala, I agree with you. We are the people, and the power is vested in us. Unfortunately, I think we actually dropped. But if that is the kind of reasoning we want to have, that we all must agree that our leaders have let us down, and as the people, then how can we go and get that that belongs to us? Now, my question to you, that you didn't answer, is: are you then saying that as the people we must go and grab the power? You know, are we going? If we are going to grab the power, who is leading us? Because all these people, you've already agreed, both Raila Amolo Odinga, both
what leads us is very simple. What leads us very simple. We voted. Kenyans voted. There's a vote there. We go and find out who won the election, and we take it from there. Our voice gotta be heard, not them. It is us.
So the question is, what is the
Ruto will take over. We're going to use the same people anyway. They are Kenyans. We're going to be up there.
Yeah,
but right now,
but there's some things that you're saying, and I want to understand something from you. You said Kenyans are smart, right? Kenyans know and understand that we can no longer be used. Now, and you said the trajectory our country is taking is not good at all. And we are saying these people, both of them, They are not right. Both of them are thieves. Both of them have misled
but
us. So the question is,
listen to me.
my
Yes.
question is this: if these people are not the right people, what is the collateral damage of us going to to the state house? What is the collateral damage if Kenyans are wise enough, if we allow us to walk to to the state house? What is the collateral damage?
Oh, okay. The whole thing is one, Kenyans voted. They had an idea of what they wanted. Okay? And if they had an idea what they wanted, their voice got to mean something. In other words, we come to a place where we want results. We don't chicken out and leave those we did not like to lure us. Where are they taking us to? If we elected them, let them be there. But let's have our voices to demand what is right. Because letting them go on is actually giving up on our right. And we know the kind of characters that are there, some of them. And of course, they have muddied the water where everybody is evil. Everybody, there's no Kenya, even you, when you go there, already they have something for you. You're gonna be an evil man. Okay. So everything has been muddied so much to the point where it's very hard to sort out. But still we can see, we are not blind. We know those. If you tell me Martha Karua is a thief and a robber, I won't believe you. If you tell me Raila has got the thing is that we don't want to see the facts. And the reason why the Wananchi chose those two, if they won, is because of what they perceive they can do. Okay? We elected Kibaki the first time, and everybody knew, where we are going, and people were happy, and things change. Behaviors of Kenyans change because their will was expressed, and they realized, some of their goals that they wanted, through Kibaki. And so the people have the voice. And so for us to give up because we perceive everybody is corrupt, therefore we raise our hand fatalistically, and let things run, I don't think that's the right way to go.
But Lala, where we are having
the right way to go is to claim
Lala, here is where we are having a problem. Today, in 2007,
yes,
and 2007, election was stolen from Raila Amolo Odinga, and
yes.
The person who was on the other side, who helped Kibaki to be sworn even at night, if you remember, was Mother Karua. So Mother Karua, what authority does she have now, right, to come and tell us of electoral justice when she actually participated in perpetrating electoral injustice? That's why we want to say, if you have been, Raila has been a victim.
No. I'm a preacher of the word of God, but I'm not holy. If you look at my life, you're going to find some things. There's no holy people. Americans, they don't have holy people. They are people with weaknesses. But we can do an assessment and see, is this person living, this way? Ruto is corrupt to the core. We know that. Rigathi is corrupt to the core. We know that. There are things that are well known. So for us to be blind and just say everybody's Raila and the rest, those are terrible people, we are giving up on our country.
I think Lala, what we are talking about,
decided to vote.
Let me
respect.
Let me finish
the
this.
voice of Wananchi.
Let me ask you a question. I was actually about to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
I think what I was saying, there is a saying that says insanity is doing things the same way, expecting different results. Okay. Now, what I am saying, that if it is in terms of corruption, everyone has been mentioned. There are reports from the commissions that have actually shown that there are people who have been corrupt. I agree with you that we cannot give up on our country. We cannot give up. And that's where we are saying perhaps we need to ask certain people to step aside so that the right people with pure motive to champion the cause of electoral justice. That's what we are saying. You and me, if we can agree that way, that
Yeah,
then we
we
are
can
headed
agree
to the
with
right
that.
direction, right? If it's
Yeah,
Ruto, he has been mentioned with
we can
corruption.
agree with that. You know, you and I live in America, okay? Are you in Kenya or in America? Okay. We know very well some of those people should not even be running. They are already criminal. The record that disqualify them. But in Kenya, they're out there. So in other words, we claim to have this constitution and nobody's following it. We don't respect it. The
It
only
is
people
selectively
who try
applied.
to impose on them are the small man, the Korokocho guys, people out there. But you know what? They're already in a war zone. They don't have food to eat. They don't know whether they're going to sleep tonight, you know, whether they're going to be secure tonight. The war has been declared. Things are not going to be the same. You are not safe. Your wife is not safe. Your daughter is not safe. People are hungry and angry. And so to talk about this so-called peace, things going to get better. No, we need to talk about saving our nation. And how do we do it? We do it by giving the voice to the people. The people want, in fact, if the whistleblower is correct, then Kenya is more united than what we have been told. People actually are able to know what they want. Tribes, they voted, if 8.1, voted for Raila, if that's the truth, it means that those bunch or the 8.1 come from across the nation. In other words, the tribal idea that people are talking about is not there. But Ruto and Chebukati and the group, they basically have decided to balkanize the nation, believing these are the wrong kind of people because they never voted for this guy. And people like Rigade are reinforcing that. And you think you have a nation? We don't have. Because already the people are quite divided. And so right now, the only way to survive is to become a Ruto follower, go look for a job. Countries moving in one direction. How that is building a nation, I don't know. In my mind, I think what we are doing is simply postponing our issues to the next election. Then they're going to erupt. And when they erupt, you're going to be a Somalia because statehood depends on trust. It's like a marriage. People feel like they belong here. But now the only way to belong is to become beggars. Go for the job, go to the state house, look for a job, and so you come back home with things so that your people can say you go build something. But our voices are not there. A part of it. It's the voice of Kamago, the voice of Chebukati. I think this is the problem comes.
Lala, so why don't we use the same voice? Mzalenda, I'm going to bring you in. Why don't we use the same voice and recall our leaders right from the MCS, senators, member of parliament, recall them because they are not doing what we have actually asked them to do, legislation, and oversight. So if they are not doing that, they are not passing legislation, they are not coming up with legislation that will give us proper or electoral justice, then why do we keep paying them salaries? Why do we have to march to state house and not march to parliament to make sure that we have hosted these members from there, because their job is to
We are
be
marching to
oversight.
State House because Ruto is not supposed to be there. He's not a president. He's not elected by Kenyans. And that's the top. He's not elected by Kenyans.
Lala,
That's the reason.
Lala, I like your conviction. and you are convinced that Ruto was not democratically elected. You
He
know,
was not elected. Yes.
yes, he was not democratically elected. Just as I said, in a democratic society like our country, maybe you can say that in quote that Kenya is not democratic. We believe that after every 5 years, we go through a democratic process where the people choose their leaders or their representatives in an election. In a democratic society, an elected government is overthrown through maybe a coup, a revolution, and I don't believe that there can be any non-violent means to 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 install Raila Odinga as the president of the country.
If there's violence, Ruto is the violent one. It's the one who stole election. That's the
Yes,
violence because he overthrew the elected, the process. There was a constitutionally, mandated way of, choosing our leadership. They have converted it, subverted it, and created this man called Ruto. He's not a
yes,
president.
yes, because your side believes that Ruto is not the president. The
Yes,
other side that voted for William Ruto believes that
and they believe
Ruto
that
was
too.
elected. So we have
Yes,
two warring factions here. There are those who believe that Ruto was elected. There are those who believe that uh, Raila won the election. Now,
the
where is
majority,
the middle ground? Do you think that William Ruto supporters will give in because you are saying that you have the whistleblowers report, the servers were not open, and therefore you get out of state house? And is that a constitutional means? Is there anywhere in the laws of the country where how Raila will be sworn in? Suppose it happens, how are you going to go about it? Are there laws that uh, will enable William Ruto to return the sword? Or I don't know how this is going to happen. Maybe just explain to me a bit. If suppose, yes, you got your way and you kick Raila out, you kick Ruto out of state house, then what next?
see, there are several ways that the whole thing can be resolved. One, Ruto resigns, okay, which maybe they won't resign because he's tried to be there, but Kukla means, and there's no difference between Ruto and Idi Amin. The same thing. They took over power, but him is simply used um, uh, electoral, theft, helped by the Kamagus and others, and so there was no bloodshed. So that's how he got in there. He could be a statesman and say, you know what, let's settle the case like Wakanda. Wakanda, the movie you watch, Wakanda. The Chala decided to settle the case, and it could be simple. Let's go to an election. Okay, in parliamentary system, government resigned all the time because they don't have legitimacy of the people, and so unless we are barbaric, we don't believe in rule of law. Uh, Clearly, wananchi can demand and say, you know what, we want to make sure that we have the right kind of person, because the constitution allow us to do that. So there's a way, it's that way, and there's the other one which is purely a revolt. a lot of people going to get hurt, which is that's not the most desirable one. And then the last one, of course, to let things go the way they are, but still they're going to end up the same direction, same way. Mm-hmm. So it's a choice of the people. But if Ruto is a democratic in thinking, in his brain, his mind, then he should listen to the people.
But Lala,
He wants legitimacy. He can,
Lala,
open the server and show this is how I want.
Lala,
He doesn't want to do that because he knows he did not win.
Lala, I also want us to be practical and realistic in our thinking and in our asking. Do you think, Lala, what you do, try to push the volume up. Volume up. I think you received a call and then it threw you off.
Yeah, so done.
You're good now. You're good.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think also let us be fair and practical in our asking, Lala. You know very well that there will be no what we are asking Ruto to do. He cannot do it. The situation as it is. Even Kibaki stole the election, was sworn at night, and he moved on, and Raila became part of the government, and Raila became comfortable when he got to the government. What we are saying that as well, it is fair to also point out that Raila has always had opportunity to fix these electoral injustices, but he has failed. He got what was known as serikali ya nusu mkate, and then he came to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, where he got what is called the handshake. These were golden opportunities for him as a leader to fix electoral injustices. But now that we are here and Ruto is not resigning tomorrow, right? What can we do? How can we fix this? Can we say, our legislative assemblies, can you guys go down and come up with legislation that can help us? This is what I'm asking.
You know why Raila has failed? It's simple, because he followed the democratic way. He's kept on following the democratic process. That's why he has we say he has failed. But in that failure, some of us are able to speak the way we speak because of his contribution. Probably is going to be the most important person in the Kenyan history in the future, looking back. And so his failure has been a success in so many ways. So we have to look at that in context. And the question is, why do we call him a failure? Is it the problem his or ours? Because we love darkness instead of having the light. So the thinking here, we have to also to probe and ask ourselves, why do we call him a failure? Has he really failed, or we are the one who have failed him?
Mm-hmm. Lala, you are right. That, but sometimes I think Raila plays his politics to lose. Yeah, because we've never encouraged internal democracy within his political party, and that is a fact. And
see, my thinking is that most of us talking here are, I think we are scared, we are cowards. I think we are ready to be ruled by a dictator.
I don't think so. I don't think that we are cowards. The only thing is that we have an opinion that probably you will not like.
We are
Me
following
personally, I don't think that Raila is
the
a solution
people
to the country.
simply because without without electoral justice, without truth, there's no America. We'll be leaving. We leave this country very quickly. It's just simply because they have trusted the idea that election is sacred to them. It works for them. They look forward to it. It's important.
But Lala, even Americans had issues with the
Even
election.
America had issues with mathematics.
Every country has
yes, they have issues, yes, but they work on them. They work on them.
So
no, Lala,
they do.
Lala, let me ask you, do you remember?
Issues are there, but
do you remember those guys
today
who
you
have
can
been,
go back. My office where I come from here, 3-4 election has been an office for U.S. election. You know, we have used my office. They donated my office to them for campaign purposes. So, but the problem that we have in Kenya is so blatant. You know, it's just it's sad. Here, you can go back and you can ask, go and look at how people voted. You can even know how I voted. You know, the evidence is there. You can track and everything else. In Kenya, everything is opaque. Nobody knows what's happening. Even those parties, the way they are run. So it's like we call ourselves democratic, but we are not. There's no democracy that we don't follow it, but we have been trying to perfect it, at least to make it work for us. But I assume, we are not ready, because right now we have a golden chance to put Kenya on the path of democratic, to be a democratic country, but we are chicken out. Some of us are so scared.
Is the chance Is the chance going to State House and hosting the president?
Okay, guys, I gotta go. I gotta leave, guys.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. I like Lala's conviction. I like Lala's argument. The thing is, we need to clean. Ile kitu walikuwa nasema fagilia wote. I think that's what we need, Mzalendo, right now. The thing is, all of these leaders, up to including William Ruto, Raila Amolo Odinga, the former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, they have not been very sincere to us as Kenyans. And if we as Kenyans have the power, then we also can recall our member of parliaments. We recall our senators. We recall our MCAs, women reps, right? Because we vote them. And then we ask them, we gave you a job to go and oversight. You're not doing it. We gave you the job to represent us. You're not doing it. Why are we paying you salaries? And another thing that Lala said as he was exiting is that we have the chance. But I'm asking myself a question. Ruto is saying, for instance, he wants to digitalize 5,000 government services. Ruto said, let us register people at birth. He said, let us pay, I think, taxes or something like that. But everyone is opposing. This system will lead towards accountability and transparency, because then you will know how many people you have. Right now, we don't know who is dead, who is not dead, because sometimes even other people's IDs are used to vote. And this is some of the things that we are saying, that we need to streamline our systems so that our systems can work for us. The thing is, the challenge that we are having here is the Azimio want to walk to State House. Why aren't they going to Parliament? Why are they not going to Judiciary? Why specifically State House? I think that is, I don't know, Mzalendo, that is the way I'm seeing it. And Geoffrey Ruto, if you want to come to the studio and give us a diverse opinion, and for purposes and for the record, this is not a UDA station. This is a station for everyone who wants to express their opinion, so that we can have a dialogue, a sober dialogue, your opinion counts and everybody's opinion counts. Mzalendo, what do you think as Geoffrey Ruto comes to the studio?
You know, I've said it time and again that where we have reached in our politics, yes, Raila has achieved a lot. We can't deny his achievement in the democratization of our country. Even when elections were stolen, there, if you watch Raila during Hassan's time, the issue of election was it was so opaque that they needed a platform or a software where people could log in and see the result. So in the last protest was that the portal was not working and people could not access it. So Raila fought very hard. We had that portal and people could access and see the result. Just what the Bugatti is implementing, implemented in the last election is the genesis of what transpired after Kibuitu, then consequently Isaac Hassan. Actually put it very, very clearly. Most political leaders, they want to use IBC to steal elections. Most of them, including Baba himself, there's no free and fair election that was conducted in most areas that ODM uh, had their candidate against maybe independent candidates and all that. There was no free fair election there. Most of these elections were rigged in favor of the political party because everybody was looking for numbers. If you go back and look at the petitions going on, you can hear the confessions by IBC officials how they were being pushed by the political leadership. I don't know how that is true, but these are things that happen. I say, and I will continue saying, maybe somebody would listen to me out there. IBC should not be the only organization that will call elections. Let the fourth estate be empowered such that they can announce the results and we follow the results from there. That way it makes it very, very difficult for elections to be manipulated because all the media houses will be competing to relay the right information. They have the capacity, and if they get good funding from government, they, they can cover all the areas. The only problem that can occur is that, like in the last election, media was manipulated. So if media is manipulated, then again, maybe the civil society can come in. In elections in Europe or here in the US, you find the judiciary uh, really involved. They deploy their staff to monitor the election. If there is any irregularity, that is an authentic body that is able to say, we had lawyers, we had judges observing the election, and this is what they came up with. So elections in Kenya are hotly contested. And moving to the future in 2027, the scenario will probably be worse because you'll see a, a shift to the polling stations such that the political parties will be more organized at the polling station and they will be able to verify what their candidate got before they head to Bomas. Yeah, Bomas should just be a ceremonial place where the certificate is being handed. I don't understand this issue, Mise, where we have to wait for returning officers from the 290 constituencies to come to Bomas. I think that it increases the cost, and whatever they are presenting has already been relayed. In the era of technology, there are phone calls. You can make a phone call. You can log into the portal just as they had said, so that we can have an election after the next day in the morning. We know who the president is. Yeah, it is possible. We can still do it, but the political class are not interested in that. So long as we have the president appointing IBC officials, it will always be seen like they are working for the president. So maybe political parties should play a role. But again, it takes of people of integrity because these are human beings who are being employed in this position. So how do you stop manipulating a human being? How will you know that Mickey is the guy who has got integrity and will not be manipulated in the 11th hour? So these are teething problems that we have as a country where everybody is perceived to be corrupt, or everybody is waiting to be corrupt, or everybody is corruptible. But I believe there are few honest Kenyans out there who can still do a good job and be counted.
Yeah.
And this, it is sad that if we go to election, even at ward level, people are carrying machetes and killing each other because of an MCA seat or an MP seat. And these are communities butchering each other, not like at the uh, a Kikuyu against a Luo or a Kalenjin against what. This is a community, the same language, the same people you grew up with. Uh, they are killing each other at a polling station because of
Yeah,
election.
yeah, but Zalendo, there when you hear our leaders like Gashagwa, Gashawa makes comments that he makes comments such as that Kenya is a private company, you know, and their owners are those who have shares in it. You know, those comments, are they uniting us, or what are they creating in us? What are we telling our youth, those who do not have ability to own or to have shares in the private company, as Gashawa calls it? And then, Gashawa addresses the prime minister, the former prime minister, as huyu mzee tunamwonea 18. Don't you think also that the government needs to tone down how they are addressing in their public rallies to ensure that there is sanity and sobriety in our country? Don't you find that also there are triggers from the government that makes or agitate or makes the people of Azimio to be abrasive in a way that they are conducting themselves?
You see, uh, these comments are made in both political divides. I have heard the Azimio leaders saying, like wale ameenda kukunu, kama kuna kitu inakuwasha, aende akuniwe huko. Kuna kitu ilikuwa inamuwasha. You see, those are irresponsible statements. Just like Gachagua, we appeal to the voters through such unfortunate utterances. There's no decency in our politics. When a politician picks up the mic, the only way they can ignite their base is by using those vulgar language. And for me, it is unfortunate for Gachagua. Uh, he needs to be responsible. He is being looked up to by 40 million Kenyans as the vice president or the next in line to become the president of the Republic of Kenya. Should anything happen to Dr. William Samoei Ruto, God forbid. So leaders should be responsible in their utterances. And me say, this is a transition. These are leaders of yesterday. I will say these are leaders of yesterday. This guy has been a chief, he's been a DO, he's been a DC. He's used to this kind of language. For us, we believe that William Samoei Ruto is our transitional president. The future presidency in uh, in Kenya will be determined by policies, what you stand for, and uh, and not where you come from. So I strongly believe that maybe, and I would like that not to happen. The ping pong game between changing leadership from Kalenjin to Kikuyu should stop at one point.
Yeah, but
William Ruto is a very, very sober president,
yeah,
and
yeah, but
is not going to allow that. Thank you.
Mzalendo, William Ruto is allowing right now some shenanigans that are not befitting. You know, William Ruto is a Christian. He carries himself as someone who should be the role model. You know, there are things. I mean, and I want to reference to what you said that Gachagua is used to this language. You know, when you are young, you think as a young man. As you grow, you also grow in your thinking and in your utterances. And we expect that Gachagua, having grown to become the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, like you said, who is the next online, who knows that one of the role of the president of the Republic of Kenya is the symbol of unity, to unify Kenyans. He shouldn't be uttering or making certain comments that can stir, or that can spur, disunity. Also, the president is has been seen in many meetings, church gatherings, where he says certain things, he prays, and afterwards criticizes his opponents. Don't you think this is a clear indication of doublespeak, where people are using the word of God selectively, and at the same time they are backstabbing others? What do you expect to see from the president as the symbol of unit in our country? Do you want